power of a mountain is so great and yet so subtle that without compulsion, people are drawn to it from near and far, as if by the force of some invisible magnet, and they will undergo untold hardships and privations in their inexplicable urge to approach and to worship the center of this sacred power. Nobody has conferred the title of sacredness on such a mountain, and yet everybody recognizes it. Nobody has to defend its claim because nobody doubts it. Nobody has to organize its worship because people are overwhelmed by the mere presence of such a mountain and cannot express their feelings other than by worship. That's an excerpt from The Way of the White Clouds by Buddhist writer Lama Govinda. The mountain has lessons to teach, yet not everyone goes to the mountains for wisdom. The ghost towns and dirt roads of Colorado remind us of its mining history, of the gold rush, in which people abandoned their lives in the east and ventured west in search of wealth from materials hidden within the mountains. Although the gold rush was fruitful for some, many ended up obtaining a different type of value from living in the mountains. So much so that even after the gold dried up, people settled near the mountains, developing cities like Denver and Golden, slightly outside of the wrath of typical high-altitude mountain weather. But as I travel through southern Colorado on a Triumph motorcycle, I come across abandoned towns, dilapidated buildings, rusted mining equipment, reminders of the heavy-handed teaching style of mountains. Yet now that gold is not the draw, and we're better equipped to navigate harsh weather, people still come to the mountains. Coloradoans have 58 14ers that they aim to check off a list, mountains exceeding 14,000 feet above sea level. A process that certainly starts with an outcome-oriented person who learn more about themselves and nature throughout the journey. And by the time they summit all 58, they will undoubtedly have a different perspective of a mountain than simply a piece of earth to conquer. Yet still, there is more beyond wealth and ambition that draws us to the mountains. Some seek solitude and quiet, but you can also find that in the flatlands. So to find the lessons and value of mountains, I pivot back to Lama Govinda. To see the greatness of a mountain, one must keep one's distance. To understand its form, one must move around it. To experience its moods, one must see it at sunrise and at sunset, at noon, at midnight, in sun and in rain, in snow and in storm, in summer and in winter, in all of the other seasons. He who could see the mountain like this comes near to the life of a mountain, a life that is as intense and varied as that of a human being. Mountains grow and decay, they breathe and pulsate with life. They attract and collect invisible energies from their surroundings, the forces of air, of the water, of electricity and magnetism. They create winds, clouds, thunderstorms, rains, waterfalls, and rivers. They fill their surroundings with active life and give shelter and food to innumerable beings. Such is the greatness of mighty mountains. And via motorcycle and by camping in the backcountry of the mountains, I'm able to get a new perspective. I am forced into the weather patterns of the mountain. I can feel the air change as I ascend. It thins out and becomes drier. Winds pick up and threaten with rain and thunder. Even though many roads have been created for logging and mining, mountains can drop trees or boulders right in your way, washing out certain sections, rendering it impassable. So as I've explored mountains across the U.S., whether it's the Sierra Nevadas in California, the Appalachian on the East Coast, or the Rocky Mountains throughout the Mountain Time Zone, I've gained a deeper appreciation of the values that humanity has derived from them. And as I travel around Telluride and the Uncompahgre National Forest, peaks like Mount Sneffels, Wetterhorn Peak, Red Cloud Peak, I cannot help but take in one lesson. Despite the changing seasons, despite the wildfires, snowmelt, avalanches, despite my small window during my short life spent in the mountains, I realize that the mountain exudes a stability not known to ephemeral life. The mountains have been here for thousands of years and will be here for thousands of years moving forward, flowing with the seasons, getting new scars, changes in popularity, Nobody was hiking Mount Sneffels 500 years ago. Yet here it stands, resolute, constant, immovable. On the day that one of us dies, Mount Sneffels will look the same as the day that you were born. Since nature was here long before humans, the patterns of nature have presented us lessons and shaped philosophical thought undoubtedly throughout human history. And what value has humanity derived from mountains? Stability and principle. First, we must establish principles or values that are core to what we believe and how we intend to live our life. Then, despite changing trends, language, fashions, we must stay true to those core principles that we've identified as keystone values within our lives. It shows up in early American philosophical and political thought, and is best summarized by Thomas Jefferson, who is credited with the quote, "In matters of taste, flow with the current. In matters of principle, stand like a rock." So in an ever-changing world in which there's always a new app, a new show, a new style, a new popular music, the mountain redirects us back inward, to ask ourselves what we stand for, what values are important to us, what are the timeless concepts of morality, thought patterns, and behavior that we aim to exemplify in our daily lives and for the rest of our lives. To stand resolute like a mountain.